So today is rear shock time for the FJ. I ordered these rough countries and they're made for a vehicle like mine that has up to a 3-inch lift. So I went ahead and ordered these, and of course it comes with all the bushings and all that stuff. But the old ones I have originally that were taken off many years ago are in great shape. Plus what I do is I use this stuff here, Aerospace Protectant Ultimate UV, and I put it on everything. Anything rubber, plastic, all that stuff before I install, and that way it'll fight out the elements and last a good long time. Of course, before you jack the vehicle up, go ahead and just crack the nuts loose on both sides. Go ahead and jack it up and be safe. Always use jack stands. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the main jack here. And that way everything is supported on the jack stands. That way I can get everything out and yet it'll be nice and safe and stable. So we'll start with the left side here. We'll get that wheel pulled off and we'll go ahead and expose the old shock and get that removed. Of course, I've got some heavy duty shock guards underneath I'll show you guys. And basically the bushings are wore out. When I got underneath this thing and just kind of bench press the frame, you can see the bolts that hold the shock on the bottom really moving around inside of the actual mount. So that's one of the reasons. Plus shocks wear out. I mean, these are about 15 years old, so it's just time to get some new ones in. Up front, the coilovers, that'll be another video. Ordered some Ranchos. One came in okay, the second one was all deformed. They really messed it up putting it together, didn't weld it right. Bent the top mounting plate, so I sent those back, and I'm just waiting for some rough country ones for the front. So when I get those in, we'll do another video of replacing the front coilovers. Today, it's the rear. So here's the power stop brakes I upgraded to. Vented, drilled, slotted, matching pads. Got those on Amazon. That was a while back. Oh, let's see here. This is the old shock here that needs to come out. Again, I've had it for a while, and I'll take this out, and of course I'll compare it to the new one and take some measurements before I go ahead and disconnect it, make sure the shock is the right size, and then we'll go ahead and actually loosen this up, and then we'll get on the bottom and start taking that out. So this is taking longer to film than it is to actually do the job. I've got these shock protectors. That was a nut protector there, big old armor thing here for the bottom of the shock. And I got that from a site online. I'll throw a link in case you guys haven't seen the other video. For this bolt here, that looks like about a number 16. And that'll work just fine. And then for the shock, the main bolt there, that looks like a number 17. Pull this bolt out right here, and we'll go ahead and get this removed and get this shock out of here. Again, it takes longer just to go ahead and film this than it does to actually do the job. Alright, so it's been so long. So this bolt came right out here. And this armor here is held in place with a bracket behind here, which is what this bolt attaches to here, along with the bolt guard. So I'll go ahead and take this off, and then we'll get this out of here, and then we can slide the shock off. Alright, so through here, and of course there's a nut built into this thing here. This is the armor. And it's pretty heavy duty, man. We'll go ahead and protect this whole thing. So we'll get that cleaned up. And all I need now is to get this off of here. And you can see the crack right there. And I don't know if I can bench press the vehicle with one arm. There you go. You can see a lot of movement around this bushing. Okay, didn't even need a pry bar since the bushing for the shock was actually in 2 pieces. And again, that was pretty wore. It doesn't look bad, but inside the shock it was pretty wore out. So they need to be replaced. This is now just dangling here, and that'll give me more room to go ahead and take this top off. So I'll go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll meet you guys over at the bench. Okay, so I can see they've already made some vast improvements. Again, this came pretty much like this, and this bit here slid around the post that's actually built into the vehicle. On the newer ones, you've got a better pressed in bushing here, which I've already coated with My favorite, 303, man. Aerospace Protectant, Ultimate UV Protection. So I'll get some lubrication in here. I've got some stuff over there, nice and thick, should last quite a while. This goes around the sleeve that's built into the vehicle. So this will be nice and tight at the bottom. It won't do what this one was basically doing. It was kind of doing this in the vehicle, squishing and everything else, so it was pretty loose. I'm going to go ahead and test the rebound on these, and of course this will go into the recycle so they can go ahead and melt them down. But I'll go ahead and check the rebound, and so I'm going to have to go ahead and get the boot mounted on this one anyway, and the top of it goes here. So we'll lube up the inside of this with some lithium grease. It's a lot easier if I just put this on the actual rod that's built into the, I should say the post that's built into the truck. Leave this dry so I don't keep getting a handful of this stuff. Again, I'll go ahead and cut this, let you guys see it. We'll get the boot mounted on here. It'll be blue, and then we can go ahead and get this thing basically where it's supposed to be. So I think I may end up using part of the old bushings that came with the original vehicle. I kept them in good shape. They've been sprayed all these years, and they're soft and everything else. So, and of course I used the 303 on those, and that way it'll give me a nice tighter fit up in the truck. I like part of the original bushings. There's a metal sleeve that goes up from the bottom into a little socket, and then this one here actually goes into this. So it isolates that pretty good, so there's no way over time of it wearing through and starting to chafe on the edge of the actual metal in the truck, and hearing like a popping noise or something like that. So that's another reason why I want to go ahead and use these. Like I said, I've kept them in good shape. I've kept them treated over the years, and they still look pretty much brand new. Stack wise, that's what they'll look like. Alright, so this one doesn't look bad. When I first did this, there was a little bit of a bubbly noise coming from inside. So it was just time to replace it. Again, 15 years out of these shocks. For the rear, this originally came with my original rough country lift kit with the spacer up front. That's why I'm doing away with the spacer and getting longer coil springs, basically a whole coil over from these guys. A lot of people think rough country's garbage because it's not as expensive. They don't have the advertising like Bilstein and all that stuff. And if you look at a lot of these expensive shocks and compare them, you're going to find that a lot of them are made in China. So the biggest thing is, what is the quality control while it's being made? I mean, that's actually in pretty darn good shape all those years, and it's not even leaking. So again, it was just time to go, just because everything was getting wore out. And other than just replacing bushings, I thought, what the heck, let's just go ahead and replace the whole shock. What the heck, let's give it a go. Let's give that a cut and see how we look. I got to do it anyway. Oh, that's a lot faster than the one I just pulled out. And let's go ahead and compare the throw with what just came out. And that's awesome, man. Probably about another 3/4 of an inch longer than what was in there. So I'll have plenty of suspension travel with the larger springs that I put in all those years ago. Okay, so the Rough Country comes with everything. I went ahead and bought the boots separate. You can order those directly from Rough Country. They're about $5 a piece. The bottom, of course, there's a stainless steel, that's always nice, band that holds that in place. I just come up with an approximate. The end of the actual shock is right up here, and I'm just going to match the other one up next to this and put the boot on that one too, so that they're all matched up. And I might have over torqued that a little bit, but that's okay. That's not going anywhere. The top side here, there's a lip, and you just kind of put that over the lip, and then that basically holds the top in. Again, this is the one from Toyota. I like this, and I like the fact that it's got this nipple that goes inside of this metal, and this metal actually goes up inside the vehicle and stuff too. There's a hole up there, and then of course this will come through the top area here along with the bolts, and we can go ahead and tighten that up because of this little guy right here, and it's a nylon, so you don't have to worry about it loosening up. And I'll do it until it just starts to bulge. But I like the originals better than what this one came with, and also what the new one came with. Again, it's not bad. It's got these little spacers here made of rubber, which are fine. Comes with a nut, which you don't need because it's actually on the shock, along with some really heavy-duty washers and stuff here. So you can always use those if the ones that you have are falling apart, or they're in really bad shape, or they're cracked, or they're just disintegrating, so that's not bad. I'm going to keep these for spares for the future. And again, I'm going to go ahead and get this one ready also, get this on here. This was for another project. Again, I was going to go with the Rancho, which were red, so I was going to put red on the new shocks, but since the new Rough Country are basically gray and black, these are going to be blue in the back. So I've got some spares here. They've been treated with the 303, and they're all tied up. I've got just a couple little vent holes in here. I'll just kind of pop those up in the attic storage with everything else, and we'll get this all set up. So for now, let's go ahead and get this one done, and we'll just kind of take it from there. Alright, so I think that the steel hole that this goes up into from the factory, I'm going to give it a good wipe down on the truck, add just a little bit of lithium grease, just for the heck of it, because there's probably some bare metal in there, and it never hurts to get a little bit of a coating. These stainless steel bands that come with the boots, they're 6mm. A little nut driver for that works out pretty good. And they're a matching pair. And all I have to do is go ahead and install them. I'm just going to do the driver's side because, of course, the passenger side would be just the same. So I'll do that and then get everything mounted up and let you guys have a look. But again, I really like the bushings that came with the vehicle. I think even if these will wore out, I'd probably still reuse these again and probably use what came with the kit. But I really kind of like this thing here. So I'm not sure if I do that or just get on the internet and actually buy this whole bushing assembly again instead of using the aftermarket. Again, it's okay, but this is just a million times better. Okay, so this is the guard I bought. Again, I'll try to find the link and put that in there for you. And it's really a heavy-duty powder coat. It was all dirty. You have some dirt that collects down in here. Pretty easy to clean up before you go ahead and put it back in. Again, this protects the bottom of the shock. No matter what you guys are driving over, this thing is actually pretty darn good. I didn't like the fact that the shocks looked delicate hanging down there, so when I found these, I was all over it. But again, just give it a good clean. And these should last a lot longer since they have a steel sleeve that goes around the stud that's actually on there. So just because of the angle and the fact that this was extended, I just used the dead blow. That way it didn't damage anything, but it got it into place. Just a couple of whacks. This one up here, I'm just going to make sure that this boot is where it's supposed to be, and there's actually like a channel that slides around. And let's see, right about right there. Here we go. So again, it's got a metal washer with a lip that goes into the hole, and I was right around the hole was scratched just from all the years that it was in there. And put a little lithium grease, and now I just have to go ahead and get this on. The only problem is I'm going to have to push this down again because I can't get the bushings in up over there, so I'll have to pull this down and replant this boot here so I can get the actual bushing, the rubber bushing, and then the washer and then the nut started. So it is a little bit fussy and finicky, but it can be done. It's not that bad. Alright, so again, you can pull this down pretty well with a couple of hands, and then actually hold it with one hand as you apply the bushing and then the actual washer on top of that. Alright, as Vince would say, those of you guys that know, I almost did a Goomba move. So this had actually fallen down. It was just sitting on the frame. This is actually the upper washer that the nut compresses onto this bushing. So we've got that back in place. This is in the hole where it's supposed to be. I just need to go ahead and tighten that down. And I'll snug it up right now, and then we'll go ahead and get the bottom put together. And then this will be done. And like I said, there's no reason to go ahead and repeat this for the other side. It's the same thing. And at least I can get it done quicker too if I don't have to film. But that's what it looked like. It's a heck of a nicer shock. It's a premium. It's actually a couple notches up from what was on there. And it'll last a long time, and I really like the fact that it's got that bushing down there. I don't have to worry about them getting squishy. So after I'm all done, I'm going to go underneath this thing and try to bench press the frame again to see if it makes any noise, see if anything moves, and that should be good, man. So again, we'll get this all buttoned up, get the wheel back on, and when everything's totally done, I'll get the camera out just so you guys can see around the tire and take a look at it and stuff. It looks actually pretty cool. Okay, got this one set for 72 foot-pounds. And we went ahead and torqued this bolt here, and this one here for 72. Also put some permanent Loctite on there. Of course, it's not really permanent. You can always break the seal, but it's not going to vibrate loose. This is all cleaned up, so we don't have to worry about any damage and stuff to the shock itself. This one's basically done. The top I went ahead and just snugged down until it felt tight. The bulge, I didn't just stop there because I don't want these loosening up. But you can look at the bulge on the rubber up there at the top. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get a better view. Alright, so this is nice and bulgy in here. Same thing with up top. And as you tighten it down, you can actually feel it to the point where it's tight enough. I just put a tiny little wrench on the top of this. You don't want this turning, because it'll actually translate down in here and start to unscrew or screw in the piston and actually mess up the shock. So you want to hold this top still. So it takes a little bit because you can only do like one turn, actually 1/8 of a turn at a time, but you'll eventually get it. And now this is all set here. So again, this one is done. Cameron, this is actually another video. It actually prevents a lot of sag and stuff. So I'll go ahead and get the tire on this one, on this side, get it snugged up for now. We'll go ahead and torque everything later. Anytime you're taking something off and you're torquing the lugs, honestly guys, it doesn't hurt to walk around and just check all the wheels. And I've got some anti-seize on the actual studs and stuff here also. So I'll get the other side done, get the wheels on, and then we'll just look beyond the wheel at the finished product. And that's basically it, man. I can't wait to see what this feels like. And at least once I even get it down on the ground, like I said, I'm going to get inside and grab a hold of the frame underneath this and go ahead and bench press the back, get it up and down so I can just see what's going on. It should be a nice stiffer ride, a lot nicer like when I first bought the vehicle. All these other bushings seem to be okay on the rods and stuff like that. I'm looking in and I can tell right there if I ever wanted to replace the actually bushing inside of these with polyurethane, there's no way, guys, that you can press it out. You'll need some sort of commercial 100, 200 ton something or other to get that out no matter what you do. So I just did a video talking about how you can drill it out, heat it up, cut the sleeve and then get it out that way. So I could actually reuse these and just replace them. But again, once in a great while I get underneath, I just kind of lift up on it and I take a look at all the bushings and stuff like that. I wish I had a lift. It'd be a lot easier and stuff, but I don't, so I do the best I can. Fully installed, both sides, all the way down. And the good news is, one of the shock boots, one of the old shocks was blown. It had no spring back to it. So it's a good thing I went ahead and replaced these. They did last 15 years, so much for all the bad publicity that Rough Country gets. 15 years on the shocks, that's not bad at all. Again, everything looks good as far as all the bushings. All I have to do is get the front coilovers replaced. Then I'll have to get this thing over for another alignment. Re-torque down all of the bolts. Anytime you take even one wheel off, you have the torque wrench out, it doesn't hurt to walk around the entire vehicle and check the torque specs on all the bolts. That's it, guys. I'll go ahead and get this on YouTube so you guys can have a look in case you ever decide you want to go ahead and replace the rear shocks.